Hi, my name's Antanas and I'm the coordinator of the Ecosystem Science major here at the University of Melbourne's Bachelor of Science. Now, I'm taking this opportunity now to let you guys know a little bit about what the Ecosystem Science major is about, what are some of the great experiences that you can have when you're doing them, what are some of the great career outcomes that you have once you finish this major. So what's the Ecosystem Science major all about? Well, the Ecosystem Science major is about understanding ecosystems. Okay, and we look at that in a couple of ways. We look at that from an ecological science sort of perspective, understanding the interaction of organisms, the environment around them, how the water and the soils interact and create that ecosystem, and the types of animals and plants that are there. And so we really get a good sense of that with the major. What makes this major unique is we also take a look at the social science or the social aspects around that. Many of the ecosystems out there that face challenges at the moment are largely because of humans. And so understanding the people and the communities around those ecosystems helps us to sort of bring that science together with people to make decisions that are going to be beneficial for those ecosystems. And I think that's a really important aspect of this major. The major itself has two specialisations. So we have an urban specialisation, which really focuses on those ecosystems that we find in our urban areas. They certainly face a great deal of challenge because they're living and existing within concrete buildings and stuff like that. And so getting an understanding of what those challenges are and what those issues are and how we can work to ensure that these ecosystems remain there is the focus of that major. And the ecosystems that we think about in that urban context are things like gardens to begin with. So your garden itself has a whole bunch of plants and animals that exist in the landscape and sort of interact more broadly in your neighbourhood. We have green roofs and walls, which is a great way of bringing green into our lives, but also from a sustainability perspective, it helps buildings be more energy efficient, for example, and it also has some fantastic health and well-being benefits. So when we think about urban ecosystems, we think about a whole range of things or green spaces that exist in our urban areas. These can be very formal things from gardens, green roofs and walls, all the way through to waterways, parklands, and even remnant vegetation that exists within our sort of urban areas. And so the urban ecosystem major is about understanding those and how they interact more broadly with that sort of built environment. We also have a forest specialisation, which focuses more around the challenges faced by sort of forested landscapes that exist outside our urban areas. Through the forest ecosystem specialisation, we focus more on the forested landscapes that exist outside our area. These landscapes do face many challenges at the moment. Largely around humans and their interactions. We have things like land clearance, conversion to other uses through development or agriculture. And so how do we manage and look after these forests so that they remain viable and sustainable into the future? You want to study this major because you want to make a difference to the natural world around you, whether that's in those urban ecosystems, looking after those wonderful green spaces that give us some fantastic health or mental health well-being type benefits, through to those forested ecosystems, which face a lot of challenges at the moment between conservation and production and those sort of things. And so you'll be equipped to make a difference there. You'll know how these ecosystems function. You'll understand how these communities interact with those ecosystems, and you'll bring that knowledge together to make the right decisions for those ecosystems so that they are preserved now and into the future. One of the real benefits of studying the Ecosystem Science major here at the University of Melbourne is those pathways into careers, but also those pathways into master's programs for those who want to continue on and develop their skills and knowledge further. One of the highlights, I think, from a teaching perspective is the capstone subject. So it's called Integrated Landscape Analysis. And this particular subject, we actually get you guys working with industry mentors on a real problem. It's a fantastic opportunity for you guys to take the skills and knowledge that you've developed during your 2.5 years of study, and in your final semester, put it to good work in small groups, working with an industry mentor on one of their problems. It's been a great sort of experience for students because they get to see how that knowledge and skills that they've developed is translated into practice. There's a whole lot of career opportunities that come out of a major like this. Just think of anywhere where there is an ecosystem. It's going to need someone to look after it, someone who's got the skill sets to be able to work with people but understand the science behind that ecosystem. And so these jobs can take you in many places. These can be in those urban areas, working for councils, managing and looking after green spaces, parks, waterways, those sort of things, through to into those forested landscapes, working for state governments, managing large areas of forest for a range of values. These could be for water, for places like Melbourne Water. They could be for other things, conservation, production, if you're looking at the plantation space. And those employers vary from being state governments, local governments, to non-government organisations.